Why did I say that? I don't know what that was. What? Oh gosh. I never learn from my mistakes. Hi! I'm so glad you're here. I start a lot of projects, and I don't always finish them. So this week I thought it was time to finally finish some projects that I started 8 months ago? 9? I can't remember, which means it's been too long. These projects have just been sitting in a pile next to my table this entire time. I don't exactly remember what got in the way of me finishing them, and what's funny about them is they are all jumpsuits. I don't know how they all ended up being jumpsuits, but they are. So we're gonna finally put them together. 2 of the 3 jumpsuits are already all cut out, and the 3rd still needs to be cut and dyed and sewn together. Now, have I ever made a jumpsuit before? No, I have not. I've made some overalls before, and by that I mean a very basic pair of pants with a square in the front, which is essentially what overalls are, but something tells me jumpsuits are gonna be a little more tricky. I can't make pants very well. I've tried. It doesn't work. But in reality, I've only tried patterns that I've made myself to varying degrees of success, and the difference with these is that I bought a pattern. I think I cut a little bit beyond the lines of the pattern because even though I cut out what my size would be, the measurements didn't seem to line up. But the extension on each of them is the same, so it shouldn't make a difference. But if I'm being honest, it probably will. So we're gonna start with a jumpsuit I believe to be the easiest one to finish, which just needs to be sewn together, and that's this one. I don't know if you can see. It's just plain white, but it has some colorful stripes toward the bottom on the pant leg, I think, if I cut it out right. It's been a while. All of the materials I'll be using are thrifted, except for the dye I'll be using later. Yeah, spoiler alert, I don't end up using any dye at all because based on how the first 2 jumpsuits go, I scrapped the 3rd one before I can even start it, so yeah. Also, when I decided to revisit these projects, I saw jumpsuit on the pattern and thought that this was going to be a full jumpsuit because I could not, for the life of me, remember what I had cut out. Turns out the pattern calls them jumpsuits, but they're really just overalls. So I think I was psyching myself out before I even started. So yeah, back to the video. This one used to be curtains. If I had to guess, which I'm gonna have to because I truly don't remember what this was, which is odd because I'm pretty good at remembering what my materials used to be and even where I got them, but I can't recall either for this. I eventually figured that one out. It used to be a Kate Spade shower curtain. I would also eventually discover that somebody had spilled highlighter, not like highlighter, but like highlighter on the shower curtain somehow, and that's the piece I unknowingly put in the front. Regardless of what it used to be, it's going to be a jumpsuit, hopefully. Let's find out. Quick update. Before it was too long, so I cut it to be shorter, and now it's too short in the front and somehow long enough in the back, and also somehow still too long in the legs. It doesn't fit super well around here. I don't have any more of this fabric to add to make this more comfortable. So now I'm debating how to fix this. It also doesn't bode well for the other project I have cut out because it's the same pattern. And with that, I already dyed the fabric, so I don't have any other fabric that is that color to add to it to make it fit better. So my idea right now is to find a solid color fabric and add strips of it running down each leg. So now that's something I know about this pattern. It needs more room. Sometimes making just a larger size of the same shape doesn't always work, but that's the beauty of this privilege I have of making my own clothes, that I can alter them however I need to. So I'm gonna see if I can save this because I really do like the idea of this jumpsuit, but I don't love the way it's fitting right now, so I need to figure something out. Another unfortunate update, it still doesn't work. I've solved the roomy problem, but now it's too long. I like the bagginess of the pants, but this part, it is in fact too low. I thought it wasn't that bad when I tried it on the last time. I cut too much off. I don't know if I feel like trying to add a section back into the middle part. I am going to call it a night, give myself some time to think over what I want to do with this, and also give myself time to think about what I want to do with that other jumpsuit, because it's the same pattern, same size, and honestly an even worse material with less give. So clearly that's not going to fit either. So I'm going to give myself some time to think about how to proceed, and I'll see you tomorrow. Hello. Well, I don't actually know how many days later it is. I had to jump around a bit while I was filming multiple things at the same time, so I had to take a minute and kind of reconfigure my schedule, but I'm back to finishing the projects that I started, never finished, started to finish, and then still didn't finish. And now we're back to, we're gonna finish them. We're gonna finish them. The only problem is, and it is a huge problem, the pattern doesn't actually fit me. And both of the things I have cut out are cut out with that pattern. And now, with the section I took out of the top and the sections I added to the bottom, it is somehow now too short and too long. So I'm not quite sure how I'm going to fix this yet. I have a plan, but I'm not sure it will work because, mind you, we're on plan C. Plan A failed, plan B failed, and now we are on plan C. So I'm thinking, what am I thinking? I have no thoughts. It is empty. No, I do. Plan C, not to be confused with plan Z. Oh boy. Plan C right now is to take the same green material that I added down the sides and just cut another piece for the top. My computer sounds like an airplane about to take off. Calm down, buddy. I'm hoping if I lengthen the torso part, the torso portion, that it might fit. So adding more to the top and to the panel on the front to make it fit more like, oh, that would look so strange though. I don't like that plan. Shifting gears, plan D. Plan D is just turning it into a skirt. As far as turning it into something I can wear, I don't think I have any better options. If push really comes to shove, plan E will just be turning them into pillows, which I'm not opposed to. I like making pillows. Pillows are fun. Pillows are simple. Pillows are decorative. So if plan D fails, plan E will be making these pants into pillows and just moving on. And speaking of moving on, the other jumpsuit I had planned to make, I'm either going to turn it into a shirt and stick to the original theming, which was supposed to be bluey, and make a similarly styled option for my little sister, whose little outfit was supposed to be modeled after Bingo. But the jumpsuit plan is clearly not going to work, so I am thinking of turning it into a shirt of some sort, and if that doesn't work, turning it into something else entirely. But we'll talk more about that after I fix the first problem we have. So let's get going. To explain what's happening here, as soon as I laid it all out, the solution hit me, like the clouds parted, the planets aligned, and I realized all I needed to do was move the crotch down by sewing them together at a further point down on the leg. It's very hard to explain, but basically if you look at a pair of pants, it's joined at a certain point to make the crotch, and all I had to do was sew the crotch at a lower point, which took length away from the legs and lengthened the top part. All it took was for me to step away from it for 4 days, come back to it, think of 2 more convoluted plans, and then laying it out to see that the solution was in front of me the entire time. But we figured it out, so it's fine. Back to the video. Okay, I actually was able to fix it to still be a jumpsuit, and it was so much easier to fix than I thought it would be. I don't know why I didn't think to do this before, because it seemed so obvious as I was looking at it. I'm wiping my eye because I had really bad allergies that day, which is why that whole section was also very choppy and disjointed, because I had to cut out all my gross sniffly sounds. My eyes were watering like crazy. So I'm not crying, it's allergies. Mind you, it still would not have worked without the supplemental fabric on the sides, and even though it solved the problem of it being too small, it ended up being a little too big because I cut too big a piece. I just decided to add some elastic on the green part because that's the part that's giving it more room than it needs, and I tried it on and it works just fine. So I was actually able to keep it a jumpsuit. Now I'm going to move on to the other project I never finished, which is the bluey jumpsuit. However, I don't have any supplemental fabric to fix it the same way I fixed this one. My mom thrifted this big box of shiny white curtain material. I still have some of it, but I don't have enough dye to dye some more, and I'm not looking to put any money into this project. So for this one, I may or may not turn it into a skirt, or I might turn it into a shirt. I'm going to go lay out the pieces that I have cut and make a decision based off of that. I would like to keep it bluey themed still, because if I can make something cute, I'd still like to make my little sister's bingo outfit, but if it has to be something different, so be it. I just need to get these unfinished projects off my table so that I can focus on new ones. So let's go take a look at the pieces and see if we can figure something out. Hello, it's the next day. Let's see if we can't actually finish this today. The very colorful, very strange overalls are done. As for the other jumpsuit, I'm still not sure 100% what I'm gonna do with it. I'm leaning toward making it a bit of a jumper, like an overall, what do they call it? A skirt-all? I hate that name. It makes sense, but I hate saying it. And if I don't have enough to make it into a jumper, I'm just going to use the fabric there to make the top part of a dress and supplement the bottom with something else from my fabric stash. I don't know what it's gonna be yet, but it's gonna be something by the end of today, so let's go finish this up. Looking at the fabric, I forgot there were these splotchy spots from when I dyed it, and it doesn't look great. Oh. Oh. Okay, that was fun. I'd put it in the back, but it would still be very, very visible, and I don't like that. So I think we're gonna go with the dress plan and use some of the fabric to make the top of a dress and find something in my stash I can use for the skirt part of the dress. But the splotches are pretty noticeable, so that's a shame. But in making it the top of a dress, I can use pieces that are not splotchy, or use the other side, which barely has any color. Let's go take a look at the fabric stash and see what we want to use. I do still intend to make either a bluey jumpsuit or a bluey jumper for myself and a bingo one for my little sister. I just don't have the right fabrics for it at the moment, and I don't have the budget to get them just yet, so that'll have to be a future project. But let's take a look and see what we can use for the bottom of this dress that we are now making. Okay, this sheet set is actually a perfect match. Not that one as much, but this one. I did want this to be for a dress that is only this pattern though, so we're gonna look at something else. I've got lots of character sheets and pillowcases, but all that's for another video, so we're not gonna touch any of those. Okay, I have 2 white floral printed sheets. Dark blue matches the blue flowers on this pretty nicely, and this one I think matches the other one, but would it look good with the opposite side? I think we're gonna go with this one, and we're gonna use the shiny side because I think it will look really pretty. I've decided to make my life harder than it needs to be, and I'm gonna draft a pattern, well, try to draft a pattern for a milkmaid style dress. I was just going to get a pattern off Etsy, but recently all of the patterns I've tried have not worked. So instead of purchasing a pattern, printing it out, assembling it, cutting out the pieces only to find that it doesn't work, I'm just gonna try and draft my own. So hopefully this will go well, and then I'll have a milkmaid pattern I can reuse again and again and again. Because I love that style of dress, and I could totally see me using it with a lot of the fabric I've got in my stash right now. So let's hope this works. There's really only some finishing touches left to be done on the dress, so I think it's time for the reveal. Forgot to film an outro, which, let's be honest, is just par for the course for this video. I can't count how many times we shifted gears, but we got there in the end, and that's what's important, right? Right? We got there. Overall, I'm pretty happy with how the two pieces turned out. The dress is probably my favorite of the two. It's so storybook, fairy tale, dreamy, and it's funny that it was made right after the wildest pair of overalls I think I've made so far. As I showed in the reveal, I had to add ties to both sides because the elastic I added still wasn't enough to bring in the waist a little bit more because it was way too big. Even trying to keep it a little baggy, it was too big. Like too big to the point where I wasn't even functional and I was just tripping over it. And I think with the color block down the leg, the highlighter splotch on the front, the pockets that are made out of a completely different rainbow material, and the little bow ties that are now on each side. Oh, and I did have to add buttons because I don't know how I tried it on when I finally fixed it, but I didn't add any buttons or clasps or anything, and I couldn't get it on at the end. So I had to add some snap buttons to be able to actually wear it. We'll see how often I wear them. If I don't wear them very often, I'll probably end up repurposing the material in another way anyway, but only time will tell. As for the dress, while I was filming the reveal, I realized that I forgot to sew. I realized while I was filming the reveal that I never finished sewing the ends of the sleeves. It was more loose than I wanted it to be, so I had put some clips in to mark where I needed to take it in. So while I was filming the reveal, I noticed I had all these clips in my sleeves because I'd forgotten to actually sew them. I didn't notice 4 clips on my arms while I was filming. I just lost it laughing because I realized that toward the end of filming, I had already filmed everything else and I couldn't help but think, how many times could you see clips in my reveal shots? Could you? I don't know. I didn't care to look. I just thought it was funny. And again, par for the course. Hopefully the next video will be a little more organized, but I'm not making any promises. But if you liked this video, you can let me know by hitting the like button, and if you want to see what I'm doing next, hit the subscribe button, and if you want to know when I post, hit the notification bell and YouTube will let you know. I think that's it, so I'll see you next time. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!